let's stay with the US election. For many Europeans used to economic and security support from Washington, the Trump presidency came as a shock as they realised the transatlantic bond wasn't a given. But as they look towards a possible Biden presidency, there are doubts about what the state of affairs might be once January comes around. Our political editor Darren McCaffrey reports from Brussels.
Out of the embers of World War II, the United States has largely been there for Europe. With the Marshall Fund, it helped it to recover and prosper. With NATO, it provided security amidst the threat posed by the Soviet Union. And with political support, it laid the foundations for the EU itself. But 4 years of the Trump presidency has challenged those transatlantic norms, with trade wars, a questioning of the military alliance, and a view that the EU was a threat rather than simply an ally. So would a President Biden help restore that more familiar relationship?
That he'll try to repair, restitch the multilateral alliance, particularly with the EU, which is one that we know he has a long history with. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be that easy to go back to square one. There's a lot, not only has a lot of damage been done in terms of eroding trust, but I think Europe will know that you have President Trump one day, President Biden the next, who knows who will come after that. So Europe will still probably feel the need to deepen its strategic autonomy, if that's the right word, even as relations with the US will improve, I would suspect, quite dramatically in the wake of a victory by Joe Biden.
Well, there is concern in some quarters about a second Trump term.
The biggest fear is that the EU would fall apart because you would have one camp that would see the Trump II presidency as an opportunity to double down on European sovereignty, and you would see another camp that would try to stick with the United States, whatever it takes, and that can easily divide the European Union. And that is the biggest fear here in Berlin, because we are always the ones who want to hold the club together and work with the Poles and the French and North and South.
While much might change with a different occupant in the White House, America has been moving its focus in a direction away from Europe for decades, pivoting east to Asia and China.
There are structural reasons why the rise of China makes a difference to the United States, but also the general focus to Asia. We are, after all, in the United States, a bioceanic country, a bioceanic power. That's always been part of our makeup. We could see a rebalancing for sure. There are also demographic changes in the United States, generational changes, which probably push in that direction as well. Clearly, younger people in the United States are paying more attention to Asia and probably a bit less to Europe. But there are still overwhelming reasons for the United States to care about this relationship with Europe.
4 years of Donald J. Trump have proven to be a cold, hard slap in the face for much of Europe. But it is a reality that has been coming for a long time, and maybe an opportunity too, for the EU to define and assert its own united foreign policy position more. Whoever wins, Europe needs to accept that the transatlantic alliance is unlikely to be the same again. Darren McCaffrey, Euronews, Brussels.
Federico Argentieri is a professor of political science at Rome's John Cabot University. He says 4 years of President Trump has taken a significant toll on Europe's relationship with Washington.
The US and the European Union are formally distant, a lot more distant than they ever were over the past, I would say, half century. Trump has openly stated that the whole of Europe is not a political interlocutor. For him, he picks up the people whom he likes. As I said, Boris Johnson, Conte when he was with Salvini, now not so much.
And what do ordinary Europeans make of America's changing political landscape? We spoke to people on the streets of Rome to find out.
I think that the American dream is fading away. That's according to most Europeans. Having said that, that's not my opinion. I think the US has the right antibodies to come out of these dark times. In Europe, for sure, the US is not seen as powerful as before, or as a point of reference as it used to be.
I like the Obama's presidency. I think he's a statesman and leader. I think Biden acts more as a state official with a lot of experience. I think he has to mediate, reassuring investors on one hand, and on the other hand, grant more rights to minorities.
I think the change from Obama to Trump has been huge and for the worse. Judging from the way Trump is managing the COVID-19 outbreak, he's not providing the right example, not only in the eyes of his country, but also in those of the whole world. I think it's time for a change.